Well, good afternoon. We continue to look at those showers and thunderstorms. I should say good evening, with a warning now for folks up in Allegheny County. We had thunderstorms earlier up in Mocksville. Now our focus is a tornado warning for folks between Pendon and Furches. You can see here as it's moving out toward the Cheek Mountain Road area. Right now, this is a zone that we're watching along 221, just south of there and north of Elk Knob Road. Until later this evening, we're expecting to see those showers and thunderstorms continue to form. We have high thunderstorm activity here, but I want to go back again to the tornado warning that we now have for folks up in Allegheny County. And we're looking at 44-mile-an-hour winds, at least aloft in the thunderstorm, and possibly producing a tornado on the ground near Furches right now. You can see here, this is near Branch Church Road, and you can see that along 221, just south of 221 right now, a possible tornado on the ground. And so this has been radar detected at the moment. We're going to be checking for some of our storm updates too. Mulberry Gap Road just to the north on 18. If you travel it up along 113, this is the zone we're looking at. It is moving generally to the north and northeast, and with this warning just coming in, we're going to take a closer look here and see what we've got with that storm. We know that it has been moving, some of these storms today, in the general direction of the north to northeast, and looking at the severe thunderstorms, and also now a tornado warning for folks in Allegheny County. And this is in the northwestern part of our state along the North Carolina and Virginia border, so we may see other areas issued with this warning. The folks that are in the path of the storm include Sparta. It includes 21, your Spicer Mountain Road. This area here, though, that we're most concerned about, and I'm going to zoom in for a little bit closer look here as we take a look at Mabe Dairy Road. Right in this zone is where we're most concerned about the possibility of a tornado on the ground from this warning. This is a tornado warning for Allegheny County. This is just southwest of the Sparta area. The storm is now moving out of the Jefferson area, and of course along the Ashe County line is what I was trying to say there. All right, let's see some of the winds that we have within the thunderstorm, and I'll show you the radar too to give us a better idea of what it also looks like with the rain. We have a lot of lightning as well with Furches, and I may be mispronouncing that, I apologize. Cheek Mountain Road, Allen Road, Spicer Mountain Road. These are all the folks that may be in the path of the storm. We also have large hail that may be falling from this thunderstorm too. And we switch it over back to our velocity view. And we're concerned right now for these folks here along 113 south of 221. The storm is moving to the northeast at about 25, 30 miles an hour. Let me just double check on that for you too. And we're right now seeing that we have this tornado warning in effect for folks in Allegheny County. This is going to continue for us here, and I'll bring that up for you so we have a better idea. I'm going to pitch it over to Louis Tran right now. He's going to keep us updated and see if we can see anything from our weather cameras as well. A tornado warning, possibility of a tornado on the ground in Allegheny County. This is the southwestern corner of Allegheny County. It is just southwest of the Sparta area that we're looking at, and north right now. Furches, you can see here along 113, Mabe Dairy Road, Scottville, and New Hope Church Road. Those areas are the sections we want you to make sure you're seeking shelter at this time. Possibility that we have had a tornado on the ground here, as we've got damaging wind gusts also possible from these storms today. And you're watching along 221, the Mabe Dairy Road area right now. So we're going to put the winds back up for you, and you can see that the wind speeds have dropped significantly in those zones. But as we look ahead to the north, so near the Mabe Dairy Road area, just south of 221, we may see the storm continue on a track to the north and east over Pratt's Creek Church Road. We also have Cheek Mountain Road included in this tornado warning for Allegheny County. This is up in the northwestern section of North Carolina. And whether there is a tornado warning, of course, we want you to seek the lowest shelter you can get into. If you're in a trailer home or other home that may not be as secured, you want to seek a different shelter if you can. Get to the lowest floor inside, away from interior windows, and cover your head as well. So we've talked about the showers and thunderstorms producing that damaging wind, and a possibility right now that the storm on track is continuing to move to the north and east right here out over Allegheny County. I want to see some of the latest updates too. Louis, can we take a look at some of those weather cameras as well, and any reports that might be coming in from that area?
A tornado warning, first and foremost, is indicated that a tornado has been sighted, by the weather radar, so there is possible danger to life and property. Now, if you are in one right now, which we are, we want to give you some best practices to keep you and your loved ones safe. So the first thing is to get downstairs, get to a basement, get under shelter as well. If you don't have a basement, get under like a hard, sturdy table where it can protect you as well. Now, if you have loved ones on the road, to make sure, let them know that they should not outrun that tornado. Make sure that they stop the car and get to the lowest area, like a ditch or somewhere very sturdy like a bridge as well. Again, this is a tornado warning, so there is a sighting of a tornado by the weather radar, so there is possible danger to life and property as well. Also, make sure you have your phone. Make sure you have the weather alert app as well, so we can keep you updated as the minutes and hours go by as well. Another thing as well, if you do have time, first and foremost, safety is number one. But if you do have an emergency kit, make sure you have batteries, also have water, non-perishable food items, and medication as well, because you never know how long this will last. So it's important to make sure that you keep your loved ones safe for not just now, but for the time being as well. So again, first and foremost, safety is number one. But if you do have an emergency kit, make sure you bring that with you as well. But get downstairs to the basement, get underneath the table as well. And if you have a loved one on the road, make sure they stop driving and get to the lowest ditch area or under a bridge as well. Now, let's pass it back to Michelle Kennedy. She is tracking this for us as well. We're going to give you the latest updates. Again, this is a tornado warning in Allegheny County. So, Michelle, what can you tell us so far?
Right now, we have seen at least radar indications that we may have a tornado on the ground in those locations of Allegheny County. So a warning issued for those folks there. Now also a severe thunderstorm warning on top with that tornado warning for the outskirts of this warning. I want to go in for a closer look. You can see that we've got a lot of lightning with this storm. So we know that it is intensifying, and it's likely that we're going to continue to watch this track to the north and east rather quickly. You're looking here as we go south of 221. So this is just north of Furches. This is the southwestern corner here, really western edge of Allegheny and Ashe counties. And you can see here from New Hope Church Road, indications there that we may be seeing a possible tornado on the ground between there, out Mountain Road, winding way along 18. I want folks to be seeking shelter in these locations. It is moving to the north and east. It may be moving toward Whitehead as well as Cleary Road. And we'll put on a storm tracker here for you as well so that we can determine exactly the spot that these storms continue to move. But northeasterly movement with these storms, we're talking about some heavy downpours, also a lot of lightning, and likely some hail that you might be experiencing along the Mabe Road area too. Quarter-size hail is possible with these storms. More concerned about the wind damage and the possible tornadic activity between Sheik Mountain Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway right now. So this is just west of the Blue Ridge Parkway. As you can see, it's down in the southern edge of your screen where we see the Blue Ridge Parkway region. We're looking at this storm continuing to track to the north and east rather rapidly and heading toward the Sparta area. So anyone in the path of the storm needs to seek shelter right now. We're seeing the southwestern corner here of Allegheny County and western edges deal with some of the heaviest of rain and wind. I'm going to switch it back over to our tornado radar here in just a moment. I want to show you the thunderstorm activity continues to show you where that tornado warning is. So it does cover that eastern section of Ashe County, north of Elk Knob. We expect to see folks in this area have to deal with a possible tornado on the ground, preparing for at least wind damage. We're looking at the areas near Antioch Church Road, Creek Mountain Road. We've got folks in Whitehead, also Collins, Shiloh Church Road, New Haven, and Sparta. You're in the path of these storms. We want to make sure that you're seeking shelter at this time. Right now, this tornado warning is on the ground, or a possible tornado on the ground. We don't have any confirmation of that yet. We're going to be checking our severe weather reports that are going to continue to come in for you right now. We're also looking at the heavy rain that is falling with this and a tremendous amount of lightning with these storms. So I do want folks to be extra cautious at this hour and make sure that you are prepared for the possibility of a tornado coming through. Seek shelter in the lowest level of your home. We're talking about this tornado warning for folks out in Allegheny County. Its movement right now expected to produce a tornado moving east slowly at 15 miles an hour near Scottsville and originally near Laurel Springs. It continues to move at about 15 miles an hour, and that is a very slow movement when it comes to tornadic activity as well. That could keep that tornado on the ground longer than we would like and continue to create more damage paths with that. We'll put it in motion here for you too. I'm going to take off of our lightning tracker for you for one moment so we can get a better view of that storm. And we're expecting the central core of the storm right now. It's near the Prathers Creek Church Road area. We're expecting this system to continue moving north to east-northeast at about 15 miles an hour. So that means that we have a very slow movement with this storm, and it could impact folks all the way up through areas of Ennis, near the Hooker area, Sparta, Whitehead, you're in the path of the storm. About 641 if it holds together that long. 712 near Hooker, and it looks like it's starting to take a bit more of a northeasterly track. So I want to zoom in for a closer look here and check those wind speeds. We no longer see that well-defined gate-to-gate shear, where we're looking at that inbound wind to the radar and the outbound wind. That is a good sign. However, it could just be reorganizing. I do want to check our 3D radar too. This gives us an indication inside the thunderstorm often that we may be seeing some intense circulations and gives us a better idea. I'm going to put this in, we're looking at that possibility within the thunderstorm here and a possible tornado on the ground for folks between Elk Knob and Whitehead. So we're looking at this right now from a 3D perspective. Let me see if I can grab it and take a closer look for everybody here. We're looking at this storm continuing to move to the north and east at a very slow pace at about 15 miles an hour. Some of the heaviest of rain is filling into the north of the storm as we look north in Allegheny County now. And I'm going to redraw that for us here. All right, let's go ahead and take a closer look at radar instead for the moment. We look at the showers and thunderstorms spreading out over western areas of Allegheny County. We do have very strong wind speeds within the storm. Earlier, we noticed 44 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts. And anytime that we get a possible tornado on the ground, even a weak one, it can create such damage that we're talking about a more chaotic experience in terms of the trees being uprooted all over the place rather than a straight line wind event, which the damage pattern looks very different where things are in one place. I want to take a close look here. We've got this severe thunderstorm warning and tornado warning continuing the movement here with possibilities of getting close to certainly marble size to quarter size hail with this thunderstorm too to the north near Payton, Spicer Mountain Road, Sparta. The folks there want to be seeking shelter at this time as we continue to look at the possibility of tornado warnings in these zones. Tornado warning still in effect for folks in western Allegheny County at this hour. And we're watching for the possibility that the storm may move north and east, slowly dropping winds and damaging trees along the way and causing lots of power outages in this area. We're looking at Allegheny County right now, and I want to zoom in for a closer look here and check the rainfall patterns and see if we can see also the hook echoes. Down to the south, too, as we get you closer to McGrady, the Cane Creek area. This is up in northern sections of Wilkes County. Folks there may be seeing some of those thunderstorm outflow wind gusts that come down from the storms as well. We're looking at a tornado warning for a small section of Allegheny County still in effect right now. And that covers the western edges here between Cheek Mountain Road, Walnut Branch Church Road, and Spicer Mountain Road. That tornado warning continues to show that there's a possibility, of course, of flying debris. We're talking about trees being uprooted too, potentially, and damage to roofs and homes as well as property. So we want to get you on this lowest floor. And we know that this storm is a slow mover. Earlier moving at about 15 miles an hour and still spreading out to the east. We're not necessarily seeing more thunderstorm activity in terms of lightning strikes, so that doesn't show that we're seeing a huge intensification, but we still have the possibility on the ground that we may have some threats for possible tornadic activity. And this is in the sections here between Whitehead, Sparta, Cheek Mountain Road, those locations especially. This is what we're concerned about tonight for a tornado warning for folks out there in Allegheny County. The rainfall is also going to be very heavy in these zones. We look at the heaviest of the rains right now falling just north of where we believe the tornadic activity may be on the ground. Lots of lightning, though, starting to redevelop back to the west, so we'll watch for that. Walnut Branch Church Road, Spicer Mountain Road. It's just south of the Walnut Church Road area where we continue to see the tornado warning in effect right now. I'm going to check our severe thunderstorm reports that may be coming in, Louis. And if we can, let's see if we can see anything from maybe our Stewart weather camera. We may be able to see this thunderstorm coming and see the structure of it as well.
So again, we want to make sure that you understand the best practices. So I looked up the CDC, and according to the Center Disease, the CDC right now, they say that the best practices are different for different situations. So the first one, if you are at home, go to your basement right away. Now, the CDC says that the safest place in your home is in the interior part of the basement. If you don't have one, go inside the room without windows. That's very important, and get to the lowest floor. This could be a hallway, bathroom, or closet as well. And avoid taking shelter where there are heavy objects in the room, such as a fridge, piano, large shelves as well, because a tornado, if it hits your house, those large objects can fall down. So make sure that you are protecting yourself from these large objects as well. And if you can, in case you can as well, make sure you have like a sturdy blanket or jacket you can cover over you as well to protect yourself from glass or any objects falling down. That can add an additional layer of protection as well. Now, if you live in a mobile home, the CDC says that do not stay in the mobile home during a tornado. Mobile homes can turn during strong winds, even if the mobile home has a tie-down system as well. It cannot withstand the strength of that wind. Now, if you live in a mobile home, go to a nearby building, preferably one with a basement. If there's not a shelter nearby, the CDC says that lie flat in the nearest ditch, ravine, or culvert as well. And if you're at the mall, theater, or gym, this is very important. The CDC says that buildings such as malls, theaters, and gyms are especially dangerous because their roof is usually supported by one of the outside walls as well. So if you are in a mall, theater, or gym, get to the basement as well or to the lowest floor. It also says that stay away from windows. Malls have large windows, which can break and can be very dangerous and life-threatening if it shatters and falls onto you as well. Now, if there's no time to get to a tornado shelter, try to go to the lowest level, as the CDC mentioned, and get under a door frame or against something that will support or deflect falling debris. Again, this is for malls, gyms, and theaters as well. If you have a loved one that's inside a vehicle or driving right now on the road, let them know right away. Do not try to outrun this tornado. Drive to the closest shelter. The least desirable place to be during a tornado is inside the car. That's according to the CDC. That includes cars, buses, trucks. They can be easily tossed around during a tornado as well. If you're not able to make it to a shelter in a safe place in a timely manner, either get down inside your vehicle according to the CDC, cover your head and neck, and leave your vehicle and seek shelter in a low-lying area such as a ditch or ravine. Again, this is for people who are on the road right now. So again, every situation is different. The best practices are different for every situation. Now, if you are outside when a tornado approaches, the CDC says that if there's no shelter nearby, go to a low-lying area such as a ditch like we mentioned, or a ravine, or lie flat. Protect your head and your neck as well. So if you have a jacket, cover it over your head. Make sure that any branches that may fall, trees as well, it adds an additional layer of protection. Again, you want to protect yourself at all costs, vulnerable spots, your neck, your face as well. Cover those areas as well. If you have a loved one who is using a wheelchair, get away from the windows. Go to the interior room of the house. If possible, seek shelter under a sturdy table or a desk and cover your head. Anything available that's in reachable distance as well. Again, that could be a jacket, a mattress, blankets, a sweater nearby as well. Anything that can provide additional protection for yourself as well. Another thing, if you are unable to move from a bed or a chair and need help as well, and help is not nearby, protect yourself from falling objects like we have mentioned earlier by covering yourself with blankets and pillows. Again, this is for people who have differing needs, differing abilities, and are not able to get to the basement right away. So find ways to protect yourself as best as you can. And if you're outside, the CDC says that if a tornado is approaching, get into a ditch or gully, and if possible, lie flat and cover your head with your arms. Again, we are sharing the best practices from the CDC to make sure that you and your loved ones are safe right now. Again, for those who are not familiar, a tornado warning means that a tornado has been sighted or indicated by the weather radar, and there's possible danger to life and property as well. So let's send it back to Michelle Kennedy. She's going to give us more updates as we continue to cover this tornado warning. Michelle.
That's right. The tornado warning in Allegheny County is continued right now. We see that for a small portion of Allegheny County, but this is where we have the biggest concern for possible damaging winds that may be on the ground from this storm. It's a slow mover, so because it's a slow mover, this area is affected for a little bit longer and may do more damage. Elk Knob Road area, Mulberry Gap Road, and areas here as well as we get you out toward east heading towards Sparta. So folks here watching and waiting on those storms to pass. We still have a lot of lightning with them. We have wind speeds that have started to drop off, which is helpful, but we may be seeing some wind gusts coming out of the storm as well, and we'll be watching for that possibility of tornadic activity in that western edge of Allegheny County. We're waiting also for some reports to come in from the National Weather Service. If they have heard anything, we'll be sharing that with you. And of course, this is a possible radar-determined tornado on the ground in western Wilkes County. You can see here a storm debris signature, not seeing anything specific at this hour. As we look back, though, we've been watching for that area that might be in a blue or lighter green, and it does look like we had some possible wind damage at the very least and possible tornado on the ground. So we want you to seek shelter. You're in the western edges of Allegheny County. Any of the thunderstorms that do form today as well as tomorrow could have some damaging gusts from them, if not tornadic. And so we started to see some spin in the atmosphere with this particular storm near the Spicer Mountain Road area, Cheek Mountain Road, and Whitehead Road as well, Pine Swamp Road too. So I'm going to check our severe weather reports that may be coming in here for just a moment. And if you can bear with me as I look at the storm, I also want to look at the 3D view. It'll give us a better idea of, is it still continuing to show some signs of the wind damage here? We're watching right now for the possibility that we're looking at tornado on the ground potentially in the Cheek Mountain Road area, Whitehead area. Right here, you notice that we're seeing some gate-to-gate shear. And we're going to just take a quick look at that wind speed here. They have been lower than where they were earlier. They were in the neighborhood of about 40 miles an hour. Some of the stronger winds from that thunderstorm now, at least in the aloft in the storm, are southwest of Sparta near Spicer Mountain Road. That doesn't mean it's making it down to the ground, but possibly here is where we could be seeing between Elk Knob Road and Green Mountain Road. I want folks there to seek shelter just north of Arrow Lane. It's continuing on a very slow easterly movement at about 25 miles or at about 15 miles an hour, excuse me. And so that would put folks here between Pine Swamp Road, Green Mountain Road, and also through the Cherry Lane area in the path of the storm, with Cherry Lane and Roaring Gap impacted potentially by 7:24 if this continues to keep its strength and also continues to take its structure as a possible tornado. So what we're looking for, these big mesocyclones that you might see from time to time, those are the storms that look like they're turning in the atmosphere and are big and gray. And you can see as we look in this 3D view here, I've just looked in and you can see that we do have some rotating columns of air. So we're noticing that most of the storms today are anywhere from 30,000 to 40,000 feet in height. And then we've got that inflow coming into the thunderstorm too, but possibly tornado on the ground in this zone here between the Cheek Mountain Road area. And as we get you out, it is heading east toward the Cherry Lane section now. Want to go back to that view so you can see earlier where we were looking, it was traveling over the Rose Road area and just south of 221 as it's continued on its stretch to the east near the Creek Mountain Road area as well near the Golf Course Road. You can see here it's in this zone right now, potentially heading for folks out near the Cherry Lane area, south of Sparta, and also for folks out in Whitehead. So these are the zones that we're most concerned about now. And I'm going to double check and see what the National Weather Service may be having come in while we're looking at this storm continue to track to the east right now. We notice that we have a lot of lightning with the storm, but we also have the possibility of a tornado on the ground in those zones. We're looking at Creek Mountain Road, or Cheek Mountain Road, excuse me, right there. Spicer Mountain Road as well has been a zone that we're most concerned about. A tornado warning until 6:45, so we've got another about 5 to 6 minutes with this warning right now. And we're anticipating, even though the severe thunderstorm warning has been dropped for the rest of the area, there is a possibility we may still have this one on the ground from Cleary Road through Pine Swamp Road as well. And we're looking at Whitehead 18 and Grandview Drive, along with Pine Swamp Road, as we mentioned, Air Bellows Trail Road, possibly seeing activity on the ground right now. So we've been looking at our storm debris signature too to see if we have any indication that we may have something in the warned zone. And you can see the track of the storm as we were starting to watch it about 6:15 and noticing that it may do some wind damage. We don't have a clear, right here actually, between Cheek Mountain Road and near Whitehead, we may have already had that tornado do some damage and come through. Now, we don't have confirmations yet. We're going to be taking some calls and seeing if we've got any reports coming in from folks right now. This is near the Arab Bellows Trail Road, Pine Swamp Road, and Whitehead. We want folks to be seeking shelter in these locations. Still a possibility of a tornado on the ground in these zones because we're looking at a tornado warning at least until 6:45 for that western edge of Allegheny County. It is a slow-moving thunderstorm, and that's a big concern for us as we see these storms move very slowly to the east from Long Bottom Road through McGrady, and you've also got Apshers there right now. So currently watching those severe thunderstorm possibilities, we're looking at a tornado warning that was issued earlier for folks in western Allegheny County. No reports of the wind damage yet that may be coming in from western Allegheny County. We do have that flash flood warning continuing for Grayson and Smith in Virginia as we have seen those heavy rains, and also some flood advisories around the region if you're traveling north into Virginia. That tornado warning for Ashe County was canceled, but for Allegheny County, it should be expiring shortly. We are seeing, though, indications that we may have some wind damage on the ground and a possibility that this storm is going to continue to track through the Blue Ridge Parkway, just along it and near Mahogany Rock Road, Blue Ridge Parkway areas, and Cherry Lane. Those are the zones. Now, we're not seeing as well-defined circulation that we once were. We're going to take a closer look at our what we call the mesoscaled storm tracking. And right now, we are looking at the storm continuing to move east at about 15 miles an hour. So with it, heavy rains, we've also seen some torrential downpours, also the possibility that we're going to be getting those hail conditions to create quarter-size hail and spots, so strong updrafts for that. And then, of course, the damaging winds as we've had some rotating columns of air that we've been able to see within that thunderstorm. We're going to take a closer look, too, of the showers and thunderstorms that will continue to build back up potentially and create more damaging winds for us. I want to check in and see if the National Weather Service is going to cancel that for us here shortly. They may allow it just to expire within the next 2 minutes. We do have wind concerns in this zone in Allegheny County. You may still have a chance to see the possibility of damaging winds coming out from that storm. Earlier, we were catching those wind speeds anywhere from 40 to 50 miles an hour, but you can see much better from where they were just a few minutes ago. And so currently, that tornado warning, I believe, will be allowed to expire. We're watching other showers and thunderstorms, though, that may potentially have more wind damage for us today. And we're looking at right now that thunderstorm continuing to move to the east out over parts of Allegheny County. It does look like we have lost a good bit of the intense winds, but between this zone right now, the storm itself, this is just straight velocity. We're not looking at storm relative velocity, which is normally what you'll see us use to determine the inbound and outbound radars. We know that the wind speeds with the storm overall has started to drop, so that's a good sign. But a concern right now that we are watching that storm still bring some wind damage to western Allegheny County. I'm optimistic, though, that we'll be seeing that warning dropped. We had earlier seen some good rotation inside the thunderstorm with those columns of air. And we may continue to look at that possibility for other storms tonight. So some of these storms that we were expecting to potentially do wind damage of 60 miles an hour or more also can create the straight line wind actions for us. But here is where we have been most concerned about, right in the Allegheny County area, just south of 21 right now, where it does look like we have at least good inflow and a possibility of some rotating columns of air within this thunderstorm. So your tornado warning has been continued just until 6:45. We'll wait to see if we have any damage reports coming in from Allegheny County. Of course, reach out to folks too as we look at those showers and thunderstorms right now. Continuing to produce a tremendous amount of rain and likely gusty winds, even if they are not damage producing at this hour. We also have more hail on the back edge of this thunderstorm. This is just north of the Wilkes County area near McGrady. And you can see that along 88, 18, and some good hail in these locations as well. So that is the threat right now, that we have more severe thunderstorm possibilities coming up as we go into the next hour. All right, it looks like they are not going to extend that tornado warning, but we are watching for that threat of heavy rain and thunderstorm activity creating damaging winds. We'll let you know as soon as we know whether or not we've had reports coming in from western Allegheny County, at least in a small area, Louis, is what we're expecting to hear back from folks. It is not as highly populated in that section, but it is near the Blue Ridge Parkway and south of 221, so it may have impacted motorists as well. And we'll let you know about any reports that may be coming in. Right now, the thunderstorms are going to continue to spread north and east, and a lot of those with heavy rain and thunderstorm activity will be also moving through the Triad, as you can see right now. We'll have much more for you coming up.
All right, thanks, Michelle. Now, while Michelle keeps us updated, I want to run through some things to make sure we're all on the same page. So according to the American Red Cross, I'm going to go through this list. A tornado warning means take action right now. Right now. That means that a tornado has been reported by the weather radar, and there is possible danger to life and property as well. A tornado watch means tornadoes are possible, but right now a tornado warning means take action right now. Now, I did talk about what you should do in case there are tornadoes in your area. So let me run through these practices first to keep you safe. And also, if you live in a nearby county, I'll also share some practices of how you can prepare yourself and your family ahead of a tornado warning or a possible tornado warning in your county. So first, let's talk about the best practices to keep you safe right now for a tornado warning. According to the CDC, you want to make sure that you take shelter immediately. So there are different best practices for different scenarios. Now, if you are home, so like Michelle mentioned, there is no tornado warning, but we want to make sure that you understand the best practices ahead. So first, take shelter. Avoid rooms with windows. Get under something sturdy, like a table, a really sturdy desk as well. If you have a very sturdy bed frame, however, get to the basement without any windows as well. Cover your body with protection like a mattress, a blanket, a jacket. Cover the vulnerable areas like your neck, your head, your face as well. Now, if you are in a home, according to the CDC, the safest place is the interior part of your basement. If you do not have a basement, go inside a room without windows or to the lowest floor. This could be the center of a hallway, bathroom, or closet. Also, make sure that you take shelter in a room without any heavy objects in the area, such as your fridge, a piano, a large shelf with trophies, pictures that could fall down as well. And the next part is a mobile home. Don't stay in the mobile home during a tornado. According to the CDC, that means that mobile homes can overturn during strong winds. Even mobile homes with a tie-down system, cannot withstand the force of the tornado winds as well. Now let's talk about the best practices to keep you safe in case you're in a nearby county. Now they also talk about getting an emergency kit. Make sure that you have non-perishable food items, battery as well. Anything to keep you safe. According to the CDC, it says have 1 gallon of water per person per day. So make sure you have plenty of water, blankets, non-perishable food items, anything to keep you and your family safe in case this does take a long time or last as well. Another thing they talked about was having medicine. If you have a compromised immune system, making sure you have medicine to keep you safe, making sure you have Band-Aids, anything as well. But let's kind of bring it back to the local news here in the Triad. So today, across the Triad now, we are seeing temperatures in the 80s and 90s. It's definitely feeling like the summer season, but enjoy it while you can because we are expecting some changes in some areas. So let's check in with our one and only Michelle Kennedy. Michelle, it's great to see you tonight. So what can we expect tonight and this weekend?
Well, right now we're continuing to look at those scattered showers and thunderstorms that are filling in with some pretty high cloud tops. You probably notice those cumulonimbus clouds growing to 30, 40,000 foot levels. And you see that from the Triad out there, Sparta and Allegheny County, where we're just waiting to hear and checking in with folks up in Allegheny County to see if we have any emergency rescues or any damage reports that have come in. The showers and thunderstorms continue to move in from a southwest to northeasterly direction, anywhere from about 15 to 30 miles an hour for us. And we're looking at those showers and thunderstorms producing some hail along with damaging wind gusts. Gusts above 60 miles an hour is what we always talk about with the threat of a severe thunderstorm. That's really the criteria, but they could be even higher. And also isolated tornadic activity may be possible with any of these storms. We had been looking at the western edges of Allegheny County between Ord Knob in eastern Ashe County as well and northern Wilkes, but it was really between 221, 13 and 21 that we were seeing more of this move to the east. And right now, watching for more possible severe thunderstorms that we've already seen a few in Davie and Iredell as well as Rowan today. We'll have much more for you coming up.